Hello, lovelies. Oh, coming to you on a Tuesday. I almost said Monday because it feels like a Monday. I had yesterday off. Don't know, that just looked weird. How y'all doing? I had thought I took my ring light and everything with me to the book, everything. Of course, if I took the ring light, I took the book, because how would I? Anyway, I took everything with me to North Carolina this weekend because I thought maybe I would sneak in a chapter or two. And we stayed busy. And my heart is so full from that. But we were very busy. It was lovely. Got to see most of my family, most of my nieces and nephews, which I love seeing them. Both sets of my parents. It was a good time. But we stayed busy, so I didn't get any chapters read, even though we did take the stuff with us. But I was thinking, let's read a chapter together today, this morning. This is chapter 27, and it's called Ruined and Going Downhill. Goodness gracious, we're only halfway through the book. As soon as my knees were sufficiently healed, I was turned into a small meadow for a month or two. No other creature was there, and though I enjoyed the liberty and the sweet grass, yet I had been so long used to society that I felt very lonely. Ginger and I had become fast friends, and now I missed her company extremely. I often neighed when I heard horses' feet passing in the road, but I seldom got an answer. Till one morning the gate was open, and who should come in but dear old Ginger. The man slipped off her halter and left her there. With a joyful whinny I trotted up to her. We were both glad to meet, but I soon found that it was not for our pleasure that she was brought to be with me. Her story would be too long to tell, but the end of it was that she had been ruined by hard riding, and was now turned off to see what rest would do. Lord George was young and would take no warning. He was a hard rider and would hunt whenever he could get the chance, quite careless of his horse. Soon after I left the stable, there was a steeplechase, and he determined to ride. Though the groom told him that she was a little strained and was not fit for the race, he did not believe it, and on the day of the race urged Ginger to keep up with the foremost riders. With her high spirit, she strained herself to the utmost. She came in with the first 3 horses, but her wind was touched, besides which he was too heavy for her, and her back was strained. And so she said, "Here we are, ruined in the prime of our youth and strength, you by a drunkard and I by a fool. It is very hard." We both felt in ourselves that we were not what we had been. However, that did not spoil the pleasure we had in each other's company. We did not gallop about as we once did, but we used to feed and lie down together and stand for hours under one of the shady lime trees with our heads close to each other. And so we passed our time till the family returned from town. One day we saw the Earl come into the meadow, and York was standing with him. Seeing who it was, we stood still under our lime tree and let them come up to us. They examined us carefully. The Earl seemed much annoyed. "There is 300 pounds flung away for no earthly use," he said. "But what I care most for is that these horses of my old friend, who thought they could find a good home with me, are ruined. The mare shall have a 12-month run, and we shall see what that will do for her. But the black one, he must be sold. 'Tis a great pity, but I could not have knees like these in my stables." "No, my lord, of course not," said York. "And he might get a place where appearance is not of much consequence, and still be well treated. I know a man in Bath, the master of some livery stables, who often wants a good horse at a low figure. I know he looks well after his horses. The inquest cleared the horse's character, and your lordship's recommendation or mine would be sufficient warrant for him. You had better write to him, York. I should be more particular about the place than the money he would fetch. After this, they left us. They'll soon take you away, said Ginger, and I shall lose the only friend I have, and most likely we shall never see each other again. 'Tis a hard world. About a week after this, Robert came into the field with a halter, which he slipped over my head and led me away. There was no leave-taking of Ginger. We neighed to each other as I was led off, and she trotted anxiously along the hedge, calling to me as long as she could hear the sound of my feet. Through the recommendation of York, I was brought by the master of the livery stables. I had to go by train, which was new to me and required a good deal of courage the first time. But as I found the puffing, rushing, whistling, and more than all, the trembling of the horse box in which I stood did me no real harm, I soon then took it quietly. When I reached the end of my journey, I found myself in a tolerably comfortable stable and well attended to. These stables were not so airy and pleasant as those I had been used to. The stalls were laid on a slope instead of being level, and as my head was kept tied to the manger, I was obliged always to stand on the slope, which was very fatiguing. Men do not seem to know yet that horses can do more work if they can stand comfortably and can turn about. However, I was well fed and well cleaned, and on the whole, I think our master took as much care of us as he could. He kept a good many horses and carriages of different kinds for hire. Sometimes his own men drove them. At others, the horses and chaise were let to gentlemen or ladies who drove themselves. We'll stop there for now, but I did want to show you some of these pictures. Go. In the color, it says the old ostler. The fire. And one of a train. I'll come back either tonight or tomorrow and we'll read another chapter. I did get to do a lot of reading yesterday, and I was able to finish the list of things that will not change. It was a remarkable book. I did want to say a thank you to Rebecca for writing a character that I could identify with, and writing a story where I felt represented in many ways. The ending had me crying through multiple chapters. It was not a bad cry, it was beautiful. And I feel like there were multiple parts where I was able to heal my inner child, both on a level of seeing Beatrice, both in seeing her as a neuroatypical child with a therapist. So getting to read her working through things that I wish I was able to work through as a child, but got the chance to work through as an adult. And still, some of it, there was one thing that came up about her being a child of divorce and noticing something about her mother. And I really didn't realize that things had hurt me from my parents' divorce. I kind of took it in stride, and for the most part, I'm happy that they were together. I'm happy that they had the three of us, me and my sister and brother, but am also extremely happy that I now have my stepmother and my stepsister and all of the family that they brought with them, and my stepfather and step siblings on that side, and my half brother, Eli, and I would not change it, hands down. If I had the choice, if we could go back and they were like, would you want to change it? But there were some things that I noticed Beatrice going through that I didn't really process, that, you know, you see your mother and father in places where they once belonged, feel nervous to be around the other side's family, people that were family to them. And so I feel like I didn't realize what weight I carried with that, to then see my parents stand in places that were once familiar to them and feel nervous and feel somewhat like strangers. And that was a beautiful thing to heal inside of me. And just thank you, Rebecca, for this book. Your characters, I'm already excited about reading some of your other stuff. She's got First Light, When You Reach Me, Liar and Spy, and Goodbye Stranger. And there was a bit of Goodbye Stranger in here in the back of this, and I'm already like we gonna be reading more. So good. Check it out if you can. It's a good one, to say the least. So thank you very much. I was also gonna say, my good friend Johnny, our housemate, had given me these cute bookmarks for Christmas, little sprouts, and I thought it fitting that I had used one of them for this book, as I felt some growth during this book. But I've also decided that the first two people that comment sprout down below, I will figure out a way to get you one of these two. So first two people that comment sprout in the comments below on this video will receive one of these too. So I think we're gonna do that. Anyway, thanks for being with me today. I hope I can either read some more with you tonight or tomorrow, and I'll see you soon.